What's going on, family? We are back with another video, guys. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Go ahead and like the video right now. Go ahead and do me a favor. Just like the video right now because we are really about to go in on this one. All right. You can see by the title, we're going to be talking about the red flags when it comes to dating. Okay. I don't even know how many we have here. I think 8. Okay. 8 different red flags when it comes to dating. And here's the problem, guys. I really felt the need to make this video because as a millennial, and also what I noticed in the Gen Z generation as well, a lot of people blow right past these red flags, just blow right past them. You know why? In often cases, because they become physically intimate too quick. And so as a result, you just blow past these red flags because you are being stimulated sexually, and it's causing you to fall back on the boundaries that you have previously set when it comes to what you look for in the opposite sex or when it comes to dating in general. So with this being said, I really want to highlight red flags that you must not ignore when it comes to dating. Okay. And so first things first, let me mention this as well. If you're a man and you're not practicing semen retention, please get on it right now. Start doing semen retention today. Because once you start doing semen retention and you learn how to master that temptation of lust, right? Because it's really all about self-mastery. You will not be so blinded by your desires to pursue a woman for sexual endeavors. And it will cause you to actually take the time to vet the woman out properly so you can make a genuine and honest and smart decision about who your partner is supposed to be, right? And you can notice these red flags because what happens is you just blowing past these red flags because you just want to have sex. You see what I'm saying? And that's why you get into a relationship that you're not supposed to be in. All right. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. First one is this: not being equally yoked. Not being equally yoked. The Bible urges us to be equally yoked. Meaning this, guys, God is not going to put you in no relationship with an ungodly person. He's just not. If you're a godly man or vice versa, a godly woman, God is not going to put you in a relationship where that person is not godly either. I'm just keeping it real. No matter how good they look, no matter what their body is looking like, no matter what type of finances or resources or status they have, here's the reality. If you are not a godly man or a godly woman, don't expect God to put you in a relationship where that other person is not the same, because that's not going to be your duty to convert them to your ideology and your beliefs and ultimately have them accept Christ. That's not your job. And as a result, that relationship is going to be very toxic because you're going to hold on to true and core principles in the identity of Christ that they are just not going to be able to see because they are most oftentimes spiritually dead to these things. Okay, they are spiritually dead. That's just what it is. So everything else almost in this list is irrelevant if you only take one away from this video, at least this: be equally yoked, right? Be equally yoked. Because if you're equally yoked, a lot of these other things might not even really hold much presidency. You see what I'm saying? This is the one thing. This is the most important one. You have to be equally yoked. Okay. Next one: does not prioritize time with you. Here's the thing, man. Someone will let you know that they are interested in you. And the way that they will do so oftentimes is they will prioritize time to spend with you. If it's like trying to pull teeth to get someone to hang out with you, they're not really valuing your time. They don't value your presence. And so if you're always available when it's convenient for them and they're not actually taking the time and initiating meetups or prioritizing the time in order to spend with you, they don't value your time, aka they do not value your presence. You are only there for them when they get lonely and they have exhausted all other options. So as a result, they call on you. Don't be on the receiving end of that, because now they're just stringing you along because they want attention. And I'll tell you what, women especially, it is what it is, but they love attention. They love attention. Right? There's women who will knowingly not date a man, but because they're lonely and they want the attention, they're going to continue to string a man along so that way they can continue to fulfill that need of wanting attention from that man. Okay, so if they're not prioritizing the time to spend with you and setting time aside, forget about it. Red flag. Okay, straight up. Moving on. Number 3, a serial dater, right? Someone who just constantly jumps from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship. They seem, for whatever reason, they just don't be able to they don't seem to be able to stay single for a long time, right? This person has not truly healed. This person doesn't really value themselves and understand their self-worth because they are constantly jumping from relationship from relationship to seek external validation from, most times, other men, right? They don't know how to be single. They don't know how to work on themselves and experience that loneliness. They don't know how to just take it on the chin and work on themselves to really truly understand themselves, to prepare themselves for what's to come in the future, for the relationship that they ideally want. They're just jumping back and forth, boom, 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 boom. And it's so crazy because sometimes, this is why I love social media. I hate social media, but some social media is like an easy way to just really see who you're dealing with. Okay. Sometimes sometimes you will go to social media accounts and you will see women who, if you go back far enough, you will see all the men that they have dated. They haven't even cleaned up their social media and they still have pictures and images and videos of them and their exes. And then they'll get into a new relationship and leave those images up. Like, what? What? Yeah, red flag. Red flag. I'm telling you guys right now. Serial dater, red flag. Okay. Next one, number 4. Indulges in things of the world. AKA she's in the streets, right? She's always out partying. She's always out drinking. She's always with this club promoter. She's doing all of these extra things. She's really in the streets, moving mad in the streets, okay? Really just indulging in things of the world. See, this is the reality, guys. When you become born again and you really start to seek the Lord and you really start to step into that identity of that, you will begin to hate the things of the world. You will not want to be a part of this world, even though we have to be, even though we're called to be a part of this world, or excuse me, we're in this world, but not of it, right? Your demeanor, your attitude, your perspective will all shift. It will shift. And you will no longer desire the things of this world, right? So if a woman is constantly like out with this group of guys, going to this party, she's turning up, she's drinking, she's smoking, she's dressing unmodestly, right? You scroll down her IG and she's literally half naked in half of her photos. She's just seeking attention. She's just seeking attention. In most cases, she doesn't value herself. And so, like I said previously, she's seeking her self-worth from external things because she doesn't know how to look within to really internalize and value herself. She doesn't know how to see herself in the light of Christ, right? And this is why I said, going back to the beginning, being equally yoked, because a godly woman and a godly man will see themselves in the light of Christ. They will see themselves the way that Christ sees them. And once you step into that identity, you have a lot more value for who you are and what you bring to the table. So that's the thing. You got to know what you bring to the table, but you cannot be afraid to eat alone. Let me say that again. You have to know what you bring to the table, but not be afraid to eat alone. Okay? These people of the world, red flag. You don't want nothing to do with them. Okay? They will, if you pursue people who are of this world, ultimately it will lead you to a path of destruction. Pay attention to the signs. Okay? Next one. Oh, watches the hub, all right? Watch streaming the websites, watches corn hub. Okay, we're gonna keep it at that level right now. All right. But streams the websites. Here's the reality of that, guys. Those people are oftentimes insecure. Those people are oftentimes depressed. Those people are oftentimes experiencing guilt and shame, and they're lacking in self-worth. Those people are lacking in loving themselves. And they're turning to cheap pleasures. They're turning to a cheap dopamine response. And not only that, it creates an unhealthy expectation of what actual covenant bonding is when you have a marriage. You have a faulty perception of what it is. And now people are unhappy in their sex lives. Don't please don't don't get involved with someone who is watching the websites. Men, especially, come on now. Let's level up, man. Let's level up. Like I say, I make videos on semen retention, but also stop watching these websites. Stop watching these websites. Stop turning to this cheap dopamine response. Because ultimately it's just leading, like I said, it's just leading you to destruction. And don't pursue anyone else who watches the websites. It's toxic. It's so toxic to a relationship. It's toxic to a marriage. It's toxic all the way around. There's no good that comes out of that. You know what it's like. You might pull up the websites one day and watch, and then after you do what you do, right? Then you think back to yourself, why did I even do that? Yeah, why did you even do that? Because there was no benefit whatsoever. And now it's just convoluting your mind. And actually watching those type of websites opens up the door for unclean spirits to come into your life, right? Unclean spirits. We're not going to get into the whole spiritual thing right now, but just letting you know, it does open the door to unclean spirits to come in. Okay. So big red flag. Someone who watching the websites and streaming the websites, no. That's a red flag. Okay. The next one, I think we on number 6 now. Lacks vulnerability. I made a video about the importance of vulnerability in a relationship. But to just sum it all up here, and if you want to check out the other video and get more of an in-depth detail about it, link is above. But just to sum it up here, vulnerability is an essential part in having a genuine, loving relationship, because vulnerability opens the door to communication, which brings forth intimacy, right? When you're vulnerable and you're not afraid of being judged or condemned, and you can just be totally yourself in front of the other person, you are able to be more communicative, communicate more at a deeper level, and breed more intimacy in the relationship. Vulnerability is essential, not only because of that, but vulnerability keeps you authentic. It keeps your relationship authentic, right? Because here's the reality. Sometimes people will get in relationships and put a mask on because they think that they have to pretend to be someone different for that person they're interested in to like them. You can only wear that mask for so long. 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 months into the relationship, you might still be wearing that mask, but it's going to come a day that you slip up. Why? Because that's not genuinely who you are. And now when you actually no longer wear that mask and you begin to be your true self in that relationship, that person's going to be like, yo, what's going on here? What's the switch up about? And in reality is you didn't switch up. You just were never yourself from the beginning. You just were never willing to be authentic from the beginning. So here's the thing. If you meet someone, especially a man meeting a woman, and she's not willing to be vulnerable to you, there are certain barriers that she has not healed from. There are certain things that has probably happened in her previous relationships that has caused her to put up barriers. And as a result, she is not willing to be vulnerable to you, which essentially means she has not healed, right? She has not healed from these previous relationships. Okay, so red flag, because let me tell you something. You are not going to be the one to heal her. As much as you may want to, don't try to save nobody with a mask and cape, because healing has to come through within. Healing has to come through from God. Healing has to come through understanding your identity in Christ and being able to walk in that in confidence, right? Don't think you're going to get out here and save somebody, because you're not. That has to be a job that they do with their own, on themselves, with themselves and with God. Okay. So vulnerability, AKA meaning they have not totally healed from their past relationships. All right. Moving on, insecurities and trust issues. Kind of in the same realm, guys. You can know when you deal with women, insecurities that they have, right? And oftentimes these insecurities are there due to the people that they dealt with in the past, right? Trust issues. Maybe they got cheated on. Maybe they went checking somebody's phone. Maybe they read something in their ex-man's phone that set them off and they didn't like, or they caught their man cheating. Whatever the case is, someone who has a lot of insecurities will bring that baggage into relationships if they have not properly healed from those insecurities, from those things. And that's a red flag because you do not want to get involved with someone who is not willing to let those things go and who has healed from them, because now they're going to bring that into a new relationship. And if you are the type who doesn't cheat, who has a sense of integrity and a solid character when it comes to dating, there's no switch up. Whatever you say, you hold, you stay true to that, right? And there's so many other qualities that you do possess that make you a high value and a high quality man, despite the fact that you even coming with all of those personality traits, and that's just who you are as your character, she still will have a hard time fully trusting you because of her experience and the people she had dealt with in the past. She might have dealt with Pookie and Ray Ray, you know what I'm saying? She may have dealt with Chad, you know what I'm saying? She may have dealt with these type of jokers. And so with that being said, it makes it hard for her to lead. She might bring those insecurities in the form of baggage into the new relationship, and it ultimately is a barrier that is preventing the relationship from going deeper. So women who have, and you can also tell, like, women who are really attention seeking, always wanting validation from the way that they look in their appearance. Let me tell you something. Women, if you're watching this, men do not commit to appearance, especially men on semen retention, especially men who are value themselves and what they bring to the table. They don't care, man. See, this is the thing. Men do not care about appearance. They don't. A godly man is looking for someone to help raise a family with. You know what I'm saying? A godly man is looking for his helpmate. He not gonna really be caring about all the lip filler and the BBLs and this, that, and the third. He's just not. He's just not. It's facts. Men do not commit to an appearance. Okay? So that's the reality of it. And a lot of times women will they'll hide their insecurities behind these things, behind the makeups, the mascaras, the foundations, and all of this. It's like when they put those things on, they become a totally new person in and of themselves, right? Alter ego, if you will. Yeah, no. Red flag, and let's go. Next. Don't do it, guys. Do not do it. All right. And last one here, number 8, afraid of committing, right? Afraid of committing. They want all the benefits. They want all the benefits of a relationship without the title, right? And I'm speaking primarily to my men on this one because I was guilty of this in the past myself, right? I wanted the perks of being in a relationship, but I just didn't want that title. Ultimately, I didn't want that title because I knew I didn't want to stay with that person long term. I knew I didn't want to marry that person, but I was too afraid. I was too afraid to be alone, right? I was too afraid to walk away from the relationship and be single, right? I was looking to exploit women to satisfy my own lusts, not just sexual lusts, time, energy, resource. It's very easy to get caught up in that type of relationship. And this is why I'm such a big proponent on semen retention. I'm such an advocate for semen retention. Because when you really start to move forward in life and see every new relationship with not looking through the lens of how can I ultimately satisfy my desires sexually with this person, then you really start to think, why am I even pursuing this person? Because let's keep it real. A lot of men will pursue women and be their friends and take them out and spend money and spend time with them, ultimately because they want to be in a sexual relationship with that woman. Even if they don't want to date them, or even if the woman doesn't want to date them, they want sexual relations. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a red flag. But also understand that if you meet a woman and she's not willing to commit, she's just probably hitting you up with a rebound. You might just be a rebound. She might have just gotten out of a relationship and she might just be looking for a rebound. AKA, like what I said, she just wants someone around to give her that attention because she's too afraid to be alone. Okay? So hopefully guys, we wrapped it up there. Those were 8 red flags. And like I said, hopefully guys, you learned something from this, because let me tell you what, when you approach relationships moving forward and you're able to see the signs, it's going to save you so much more heartache. It's going to save you so much more destruction. You're not going to keep getting more baggage and adding skeletons to your closet and all of these things. It's really time for us to really start walking in righteousness and uplifting that godly code of conduct on both ends. Men and women both should. But here's the thing, we live in a society where this stuff is not really spoken about, right? Because it's all superficial. Everything is superficial. Don't subject yourselves to the way of the world, right? Be different. Be ye different, right? Be set apart. You know what I'm saying? We're called to be set apart. Understand, right? So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, we went in on this one. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Share this with someone who you know needs to hear it, right? And as always, stay prayed up, stay faithful, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one.